Oh my goodness. Well, technology is so much fun. Good morning. It's a good thing nobody was on here watching all this. Check, check, sound check, check.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, it's that button I forget on StreamYard, that the cancellation one.
Yeah, we need to check that one.
Always.
So
Yeah.
we don't echo. It was
Yes.
really fun echoing. I'd say something and it'd be like, and you'd say something and I couldn't hear you. And why is my phone having sound? Stop that. Good morning. I need more smudge.
Yeah. Oh my God. I need some smudge.
I know. I've been burning it for the last 5 minutes.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. My 3-minute video is going to be live today. I was outside taking all kinds of flower pictures, and most of them didn't come out because
Ooh.
I'd get everything focused with the phone, and then a gust of wind would blast the flower
Oh,
viewfinder. Like, I quit. Okay. So, I'm going to read something before we start. I was asked to do a day-long inner child workshop, and I went to one of my favorite teachers. Good morning, Jean, and ordered a few of his books to get here really fast. This is Joseph Rael, who does PTSD work in the medicine wheel like I do. So, okay, I think I got the smoke.
too much smudge. Too much smudge.
Okay, need my cough drops. Um, and Joseph is the one. When I look back on the very short time I got to spend with him when he was teaching, it was in Houston before he retired back to home, Picaris Pueblo. And I understand now, as the creator of worldwide circular sound temple lodges, that he held the space for me to do what I do now. Because his work is all about creation of reality through breath and sound and music. So, I'm really, I didn't know it was happening at the time. That was 35 years ago. So, I'm going to read something out of his book, which I have actually posted on Facebook because it was on there. And he talks in this book. Is that showing right way or is it backwards, Gail?
No, it's showing right way. You're
Okay,
good.
good. It's backwards in my viewfinder. Um, he talks about ceremony in this book in a book called Sound, which I have at home in storage in a few boxes. And when I first started my path, I sobered up about 36 years ago and had this mantra come through that was completely foreign to my way of being. Because I kept saying, I intend, I think the word I used then was, I had the goal because intention was not in my vocabulary, but I intended to have everything in my life be ceremony. And this would come through my thinking, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but it just was consistent. And this beautiful sacred person taught me what it means. So I'm going to read a couple paragraphs. We find life empty and unsatisfying or uninspiring because we don't do enough ceremony. It is encoded in our physical makeup by virtue of the fact that we have eyes and ears and mouths and noses and legs, that we are here to be catalysts and to connect the physical with the spiritual. And ceremony is how we do that. Actually, in a sense, everything we do is ceremony, whether we mean it that way or not. But ceremony is so much more powerful if we do it intentionally. Ceremonies we do intentionally as a ceremony focus our energies on certain acts and lift us powerfully into states of consciousness through which we are literally drinking light. Just imagine that, drinking light. We are drinking inspiration from all the heavens and connecting the above realms with the physical plane. This is what we come into physical form to do, and we are nurtured by doing it. If we don't have enough ceremony in our lives, pretty soon we feel empty and sad and dispirited. We may think we're sad because our physical needs aren't met or we need more success, but what we're really feeling is the natural hunger of the self, little s, for connection with the vast self, big S, and that can only come through ceremony. I realized about 15, 20 years into my path, this path I'm on now, that everything in my life was ceremony. And the most powerful ceremonies were the ones that look like, Dark Night of the Soul, Ritual Death and Rebirth, all that stuff. Even those were ceremonies. The world falling apart. I mean, everything is ceremony. And what Joseph Rael taught me was, he was the first teacher of really pay attention to how I'm thinking about it, how I'm verbalizing things. I mean, this is the basics in the kind of psychodrama therapy I was in, but he was one of the first teachers because he would talk about thinking, breathing it out in sound, and creating reality that way. In his first few books that I have, that's what he talked about in there. And just going through these books for the class that I'm teaching Sunday, I have realized how impactful he's been on my life and how everything I do on live streams, everything I do is a ceremony. So even if we're sitting here having fun reading cards and burning sage and laughing at sound systems and all that stuff, for me, there's always an intention of bringing this community together in ceremony. So for any of you who are here, any of you who watch it later, you are part of the sacred drinking of light, the sacred inspiration, which is where the name of my company came from. This is all sacred inspiration. So,
Beautiful.
yeah, exactly, Jean. I never consider. Okay, I can show this. I never considered ceremony as an everyday thing. Um, what I notice is if I go grumpy, which I do, and jaded because the world is weird or my life is having a dark night, I stop doing ceremony
Yes.
intentionally. It's happening anyway. So
Absolutely.
I'm really focusing right now on making everything ceremony,
Yes. I would.
including this and these videos I make in the morning and whatever I'm doing. It's just like, how can we bring light, and not even bring it, how can we connect our hollow conduit bone to light to land it here in the physical at a time when our ceremonies are needed to shift the world, to
Yes.
shift the frequency. So I just wanted to start with that. So welcome to the ceremony. We're
Thank
starting with, Gail and I started with laughter, trying to get the technology to work, and we're both doing sage
you.
in
Yes.
honor of Johnny and all of his sage that he burns and all of his live streams. I never thought about doing that till I saw him do that. So,
It's awesome.
hi,
And
Gail.
that's ceremonial, right? It's ceremony. That's ceremony. I think, I've been planting a ton of flowers because like you, I'm in this space where I'm like, what is happening? So, that's been intentional and ceremonial to create beauty around me. And
Hmm.
and I shared with Jodi, I came home from work last night and was just wiped. And I got on the bowls and that ceremony. Like I
Hmm.
just, it's all we have to bring ourselves back and bring ourselves back. I think being out with the dog this morning, I was just grounding into the earth, just grounding, bringing all the energy down and the energy up. And, we have to remember every minute to do ceremony. I think it's our only chance of pulling the cart out of the ditch right now.
Well, and that's it. It's somebody, I don't remember who I was listening to, was talking about how easy it is to get I'm not her word, I'm going to use a different word, get seduced by the darker happenings in the world. And my guides being the way they are because they're blunt, they're just like, bam, get back in your lane, get back in the lane of doing ceremony and holding a different kind of light, because that's what you're here for. So that's what you're here for. That's what I'm here for. So I welcome just anybody who wants to look at your daily life in exactly the way it is and bless it as ceremony. And the person that taught me to bless the dark stuff was actually Greg Braden in his second book, The Science of Compassion, because he had a whole methodology of looking at the really hard things that happen in the world. We've had, one in Texas recently, and not condone the behavior of anybody involved with it, and bless it as something that has happened in the third dimensional reality that we live in, and work with some kind of forgiveness of all, which is not condoning the behavior. The behavior sucks. I mean, let's face it. It puts us in a place of sacred neutral. Excuse me, I'm coughing on my sage. And that gives us the possibility of finding solutions and taking action in whatever way we choose to, whether it's through ceremony or activism or whatever it looks like. A lot of people do not know how to channel their anger into clean action because there's no separation. And it's horrendous. I mean, I'm in Texas. I can feel the breach in the space-time continuum. It is not like being in Arkansas in the trees having something like this happen. It's a little more upfront and personal. So I'm being reminded just to honor and bless everything, even if I think it sucks, because that's my judgmental opinion. so, so we bring that to you all today. I have some bowls to play and a few cards, and Gale gets to do whatever Gale wants to do because that's how we design these. We don't design these. We just get on live and go, hey. And if you guys have questions, comments, and want to be, involved with this, type away. This is not just us yabbering at you, even though I've done a bit of that. So yeah, I'm very interested in hearing what you all have to say. So, what do you have to say, Gil?
I actually, because you and I always seem to pull the same decks every
We
time. We don't talk about it, but we show up and we've got the same exact decks. So I pulled 3 decks today, and I have to say that what I pulled 3 cards, and they are so in sync with what we're talking about. So, um, we can get into that. I don't know if you want to do heart meditation first, but
Yeah.
as you're talking, I'm going, wow, okay, all right.
I actually pulled from a new deck, and
Ooh,
yeah, I know. Robin showed me a deck. This is actually a school on plant spirituality. I mean, this woman is amazing. So there's an artist that does the cards as beautiful, what
awesome,
looks like watercolors, but the teachings in this book, I mean, it's like going to class on indigenous meanings of plants. So I
wonderful.
pulled from that. So I'm going to let you know, this is when I need to change the sound and play some music.
Do you want me to mute?
Yeah, why don't you mute for a second so we don't get echoes. Okay, I don't know if I can turn this for you to see it, but let's. I am in a little tiny room. Can you hear me now? Okay, good. Yeah, it unmuted when I turned, or muted. Okay. So, back here where you can't see anything, here I'll move them forward. I have a head and a heart bowl. For anybody who knows me, I start with heart math set to music. So, hand on heart. And take a deep breath. Your breath is the original ceremony of emergence into the world. Your hearing is the first sense that came online before you were born. So you're breathing and hearing the sound of the heart center. And just bring your focus down into your heart. As you breathe, you intend that the breath activates the cells that are in the actual heart, that are the neurons, like the cells in the brain. And you're lighting them up with your breath. And then you're going to find something in your heart that brings up gratitude, and you're going to light them up even more with gratitude, the frequency. And then you're going to take this frequency, this breath, and you're going to breathe it up into your brain, heart to head. You're infusing all of these brain cells that often carry stress with the frequency of supercharged gratitude. And take this frequency and this harmony and breathe it throughout your entire body, activating every cell in your body, opening up your crown chakra to universal light, opening up your root chakra to Mother Earth, breathing the core of yourself up and down, sun to earth, earth to sun. And once you fill yourself with this harmony, if there is anything left over, breathe it out your heart chakra and offer it into the world, into the quantum field, as a blessing to whomever intuitively knows to scoop from it. And then when you're ready, come on back into your physical space wherever you are. And open your eyes if they were closed. See if I can do this without unplugging things this time. Okay, settings, audio. Okie dokie.
Thank you.
God, Jean, bless you. Yeah, anybody in education right now is having a really hard time. Okay, I feel better. I've been doing sound healing with bowls for 20 years. The first thing that happens when I'm having a hard day is I don't want to touch bowls or gongs. I'm just like, I'm stressed.
I've started running to them. Like when I get home from work, I'm like,
Yeah.
I need them. Like I usually would fall off and stay away. And now I'm like, no, that's the part that needs to, yeah.
Yes, I completely understand. I understand. So, do you have a card for us?
I do. So I have three cards for us today, and they all went together beautifully, and they are all aligned with today, what we're talking about so far. So the first deck I pulled was the Shaman's Dream. Oh, here we go. Here we go with my inefficiencies trying to get it on camera. So the Shaman's Dream, which is Alberto Villodo and Colette Baron Reed. This was one of hers.
Hmm.
So what I pulled was repairing the veil, forgiveness.
Mm. Mm.
So um, just what came to me is Texas and politics and nature and just how much we are. It's so hard to not be angry or upset. And like Gray Braden says, we need to look that in the face and accept and bless it and keep going. So this is, we need to repair the veil right now. We absolutely need to repair our veil of existence as humans and as nature. And, we are so divided. And, we have to learn to forgive, not accept necessarily, but we've got to forgive and bring all of us back because we are so insanely divided. And it's really hard to move forward when we're not whole.
Mhm.
So the next card I pulled is from the Earth Warriors Oracle.
Ooh.
Um, and that's a Blue Angel deck, and it's Alana Fairchild, who I love.
Mhm.
And what came next is Medicine Horse.
Mm.
So that one is progress on the path. So that is our ability to heal from trauma, our ability to, you know, get past not living in our anger and our trauma and our, that hypervigilance that we all have because of what we've been experiencing in this country, on the planet, of, shootings after, hurricanes, after politics and crazy stomping and shooting. And, we have to keep on the path, and we can come back to ourselves and not live in that space of trauma. So it's another healing card about, just not living in a space of anger and you know, um, learning how to live with our trauma and go forward in a way that, we're not. It's not our anger space and our that quick, reaction. That's just, that hypervigilance. That's just, we're in this constant state of shock. So that's another healing card. And then the last one I pulled was from the Starseed Oracle.
Mm.
Um, and this card is deep cellular healing. So this card is focused on the Arcturians, and they are masters at cellular healing, at emotional healing. And the message today is, you guys can do it. You can heal yourselves. You can go forward. You can live not in a state of fear, in a state of hypervigilance and anger and just, shock, basically. That we are able to go forward, and it's our job to do it, and to work together. And that, there is just a thin veil between humans, a thin veil between me and that shooter, between me and we have to realize that we've got to figure out how to come together. And that, on the other side, we're not separate, we're together. So how do we do that here? So that's what I got. A lot of healing this morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, I participated in a shamanic journey group online yesterday, um, journeying on how in that tradition, how in our tradition, we can affect change after the shooting. And Mother Earth of all things, gave me a really interesting message. And I've never had children. I've worked with inner children for 35, 36 years, but I've not had physical children. And what she said was the way through things like this, to get out of the talking head stuff that's going on, all that intellectual BS, is to activate in all of us who care that mother or father archetype, whether we have children or not, that part of us that will run into a freaking burning building to save lives. And what was so interesting is I got that message, and I understand that mama bear archetype. I mean, I have that. I've got one of those for people that are in my tribe, of beings that I love. And I got out of the journey and opened up, opened up, I think, YouTube, and it was like the first video that showed up was one of the mothers down in Uvalde who actually was almost arrested for trying to run into the school to grab her kids, and finally let go, and she did. I mean, she was in there grabbing her kids, and it was like, that's what it's going to take when we care about each other enough to do something like that for each other. When we care about the planet enough to do that for her. And hello, Vivian. So it was, yeah, it's very interesting because, I mean, there's a place for forgiveness and there's a place for not on my watch.
Right.
We're not going in now. So I found that interesting because we need action. We need action. So my cards, I actually asked the question, what would be in the highest good for people to hear later, once we got live, or anybody who watches. And I pulled first from the Honoring the Wisdom in Nature book, which she did design a deck of cards around the book. She being Faith Christensen, and she's a natural doc. She's a naturopath doctor, and this is the most different deck of cards I've ever worked with, actually. So the flower that I got, beep 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 beep, was silver stem lupine. And I honestly don't know whether I've seen those. It says they're all over the western parts of
Yeah.
America. I'm not sure if I've seen these.
Mm.
The message is about light and love. And what I found interesting is, if it is this common of a plant with this powerful of a message, then we have the invitation to get the message on a daily basis if we're looking for this flower. And she starts her description with sort of like a blessing prayer poem thing. So I'm going to read that. Love wraps and supports over time, healing deeply, completely, and thoroughly. It supports and does not take chances to leave you without. It is always there, always present, always offered. And the affirmation that she has on this card is, let life do the work. The concept, I'm guilty of this, that I really have to work really, really hard to improve myself. And she's like, no, no, let life do the work. Just get the lesson. So that was the first card. And the second one of my favorite decks, Beyond Lemuria. And I thought this was cute. It's the manifestation card, and Izzy calls it manifestia. So she's turned it into an archetype, which is really cool. And we look at manifestation as like, okay, this is going to be make money. Nope. Manifestation in her realm of interpretation is sowing the seeds of your dreams. So just take a moment and breathe into your heart. And if you could have this planet any way you wanted it, what would that be? What would that look like? It's part of a process we used to do in a workshop where we do a mission statement. And it started with, in a big picture, with the magic wand, which is what this card is talking about. I'll use the magic turkey feather wand. If I could wave the magic wand of manifestation, how would I create the reality I live in? And my reality that I choose to live in is one that honors Mother Earth's beauty way, where we can look at everything, see beauty, thus create beauty with the way we see the world and change things that way. So, it's like, yeah, that's my magic. See beauty. That's why I take pictures.
Yes, absolutely. I think that brings us
This
back
part
to
is about creating your reality,
yeah.
trusting that what you desire in that vision is already here. If we can envision it and speak it, I think she's read Joseph Rael's book about 30 years ago. This is about magic making. And then we get back to flowers, pollinating your wishes, as above, so below. And at a time in Earth history, and believe me, this has been predicted for decades. The journeys I used to do said, yeah, it's just going to hit the fan and you're going to be alive for that. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we're here. This is going back to where I started. If everything is ceremony and what we're in right now looks like the West on the medicine wheel and ritual death in a big way, there is always a rebirth. When you go around the wheel, you come out of the West into the North, which is the aha wisdom direction. There is always a rebirth. And sometimes that's hard to hang on to.
Yes.
But her manifestia card is like, yeah, just refocus on your vision. And if you don't have one, find a piece of beauty in nature that you can hang on to, because that's the healer. Mama Nature's the healer. So interesting cards. So
Yeah.
you've got all the healing, and then there's the, okay, what's next? So Jean has seen the lupine in Iceland. Oh God, they cover the fields there.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what her write-up said. The lupines survive harsh winters and they can thrive in sun or complete shade. It doesn't matter.
Beautiful.
So I think what I'm going to do next. Do you have anything to say? I'm going to play music again.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to change sound again and play the rest of the bowls that I have sitting over here. Robin and I started playing with bowls last night at about midnight. It's like, well, let's see what they sound like together. It's like, okay, that's a distraction, but that was fun. Turn off, turn that on. Okie dokie. So I'll start with the head heart bowls, and I'm going to progress to a few other fun bowls. So two of the bowls that I was playing, they were both E flat, but they're off a bit, so they were extremely dissonant. Actually, they were better than they were last night. And I do that in sound healing because if they start dissonant, they will eventually come into a form of bowly harmony. Tibetan bowls have weird harmony. And they're reading. This is what I love about doing this. They're reading who's listening, who's playing, and who listens later. They're reading the whole quantum field of whoever interacts with this video, and everything in its dissonance came into harmony and rang out very pretty. So thank you, all of you. That was all of you.
Yay.
Yay. So anybody out there have any comments or questions before we close? And yes, I agree, Paisley. Yay, bowls.
They come into harmony a lot easier than we do with
Well,
each other.
you know what's really interesting? When the shooting happened last week, I could hear the absolute heart fractures in the heart bowl. You know, the next time I played them online, which was like the next day, and we were still able to come into harmony.
Nice.
And that's the beauty of sound healing is they hold the frequency and the archetype of what harmony is, even in the chaos and dissonance. And yeah, Paisley, I thought it was just me. Hey, I will go look for two dissonant bowls anytime I'm doing them. It's really hard to find. So I was like, oh, I got two of them. So, and the bowls that were dissonant, I can't play them because I changed the sound. This little baby, which is a bowl that was made in the 1600s, this one I have probably had 15 years, and it's an E flat. So it's the belly button note, the Chiron gong note. And this is the one that is the anchor bowl that will take one pack of bowls, anchor, go to a different set of notes, anchor, and go to another set of. I mean, it's the one I can come back to weave dissonant sets of bowls together. So, and I didn't even realize that for the first 10 years. It was like, wait a minute, you're in every concert I do. And it's like, yeah. So that was the one, my workhorse. And then I don't know why Adrian finds this so funny, but I have named these butt bowls because they have butts on the bottom. So you can hold them. And this is one that is also an E flat, but it pops G sharp and D. So it's just off a hair. And the two of them together, there you can just, I mean, it's such a great metaphor because you can hear all this. I don't know if I like you. I don't know if I want to talk to you. I'm sort of afraid of, the thing that humans do. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it was like, ooh, add another bowl, a throat bowl. And all of a sudden they're all going, oh, we like her. We want to play with her. So we're gonna play nice now.
Nice.
It was really funny. And the same thing happened this morning. It's like, dissonant, dissonant. Oh, we like her.
I love it.
Got to give them little personalities. So yes, we go from dissonance to harmony. That happens to humans on a daily basis. Bowley. You haven't heard Bowley before? Yeah, I'm the Bowley queen. Um, I've been with these things for a long time. It's sort of funny, 20 years. It's a long time with these guys.
It's awesome.
And I have some that I've had for 20 years. They've been here for a while. So midday reset. Thank you. Thank you, Gale.
Thank you.
It's been too long.
Yeah,
We will
that's
do
okay.
more.
We've been busy. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah,
Doing
I
the
just
things.
decided I can't use being on the road as the excuse for not doing it. And that's just a factor of how ungrounded I have felt through this move. And what I've done, the house that I'm waiting for is not available yet. So I contacted another friend of mine in Arkansas, and I'm like, okay, my last commitment here is July 6th. I'm coming home.
So,
And she's got a house that I can rent month to month, really close to Lake Washita,
oh,
Crystal Lake, that I'll
wow.
take that if I won't move all my stuff in. I'll move all my
Right.
instruments in and work and have like a Zen studio for gongs.
Awesome.
But it,
I'll
it
be
gets me,
down.
yeah, exactly.
I'll
Just
be down.
we'll get a blow up mattress. Got 4 bedrooms in the house, no problem.
Woo.
But it gets me back to the trees and the water,
Yes.
and I need it.
Yeah.
I need it. So I got that all solved yesterday, and it was like, oh,
Yay. Oh my God,
finally. Yeah,
that'll bring you back, right? Oh,
yeah. I need to go back to the trees. So much love to all of you.
yes.
Thank you for playing with us,
Awesome. Was perfect today.
and
Perfect.
thank you, Gail.
It's what we needed.
Yeah, me too. And I'll see you tomorrow in whatever video comes through. Let's see. I have an 8 a.m. in the morning class with somebody in Italy to learn about the crystal pillars I'm using. I may have to play with those tomorrow.
Ooh.
Mm. Okay, guys. Love you. Bye.